Oh yeah, I'm good to go. I got two phones, one for the plug and one for the loop. I'm good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to TBT. I'm your host, Kyle Rostro, and over here we have Mr. Club.
Hello, I'm Club.
And Amos.
Yo, it's your boy. It's your boy, me, Amos. It's your boy.
Amos, didn't you say that the last time we started?
He likes to keep to a routine, Caleb.
Yeah, I
Don't throw him off his groove. He threw off his groove.
Oh, I'm sorry.
People like repetitiveness. If you don't do repetitiveness, they ain't gonna know who you.
Right.
That's exactly why on this week's TBT we're going to talk about exactly the same thing as last week.
Oh
Naturally.
gosh, that would be.
Only I could remember what that was.
All right, everybody. On this week's episode of TBT, we're going to be talking about anime.
Yeah.
Oh, is that all?
Such a broad topic to talk about. Also, if you haven't noticed, we're changing up hosts every time, or well, not every time, but we're gonna try to.
This is literally the second time. How could they have possibly known that?
Right. Anyway, so today Kyle's hosting, so he's gonna lead the charge on our talk about anime because honestly, he probably knows a lot more about anime than me and Amos do.
I know how to draw it really good.
That is true. He's better. So we're going to talk about anime. This, as Caleb said, this massively broad scale of genre of things, any of it,
Spectrum.
everything. So why don't we start off with favorite anime?
Favorite anime. Okay.
Caleb goes first.
Oh gosh, it's such a
first.
Okay. So I've seen a lot of different animes. Like honestly, Kyle, you were the one who brought me into that because I was like working or something. And, like you were like, "Hey, we're all gonna watch anime," and I'm like, "I'm trying to work." You're like, "Oh, too bad," and you're watching Sword Art Online in the background, and I'm like, oh, this actually looks pretty cool because like I always was like, anime's for the stupid, and then I am. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I've seen a lot, so many people hate on the ones that I like the most, which I find ridiculous, like Fairy Tail and Sword Art Online and stuff like that.
SAO and Fairy Tail are garbage.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah. But oh gosh, my favorite one. Recently, I really enjoyed Danganronpa, which was really good. Nice murder mystery anime. I really enjoyed. Oh gosh, you know what? It might be it might be Your Lie in April. Actually, I really enjoyed that one a lot.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed that one a lot. I could go more in detail. But
overview of what Your Lie in April is for the fans out there who have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure. So Your Lie in April, and it's been a very long time since I've watched it, so hopefully I'm remembering this right. But like, so basically, there's this student who plays piano, but if I remember correctly, his mother passed away, and it keeps him from being able to hear notes anymore correctly. So a girl who is a violinist helps him through that. It's a nice slice of life anime that's very enjoyable and very the one thing about the anime that I actually found really funny is like every single episode has about, I think, 800 metaphors in it because they're like,
oh boy.
He's like, my hands feel like they're underwater inside, but I'm like steel trap, and he like just keeps going on with the metaphors, and it's just, but it was really good. It was really sad, and I really enjoyed it. The music is beautiful. If you like piano or like classical music or just very nice and sweet stories, it is a very good anime for that.
Yeah, gorgeous visuals as well.
Very much so. Do you know the studio that made that?
Ghibli.
Only one. They made all of them, right?
They made all of them. It's either them or Trigger.
Right.
If it's not Studio Ghibli, odds are it's Studio Trigger.
Oh, I love Studio Trigger.
Studio Trigger is good.
They get They did Kill la Kill, and I like that one.
I do. I do want to talk about studios later, but anyway, back to.
We'll move over to Amos next.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh gosh. So wait, we're doing favorite animes, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, I'm kind of torn between like two of them. Like at the moment, like I was thinking about this, and I'm like, which anime have I watched that when I compare it to others, like no other compares? And there's two that come to mind, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna go into too deep, but the more recent one I watched was called Parasite to the Maximum, which is basically anime Spider-Man. I really I'm not even kidding. Like it's very like, it's basically like to give you an idea. Like, I mean, I showed you a little bit of it, and I think Owen finished it. But basically, it's about this guy who, like a parasite from outer space. Like there's these parasites from outer space like invading Earth, and there's only like a few of them, but they invade Tokyo, because everything takes place in Tokyo in animes. But so one basically invades his body, and it gets trapped in his arm instead of going to his brain like it was supposed to, and it learns to talk on its own. It's basically like it's a parasite, but it can talk to the main character's name is Ichiba or Shinichi, I think, something like that. But anyways,
insert anime name here.
Yeah, just insert name you can't remember here. But basically the whole thing is about this guy, like, this thing is in control of my arm and I want to get rid of it, but at the same time I can, like, he goes around, he kills these other parasites, and he's like, why are you cool with killing these other parasites? And it's like, I really don't know, but it's my form of survival. They want to kill you, and I have to protect you to protect myself, basically. And like, when you first watch, you're like, I really hate this parasite on this main character, because the main character is basically a giant nerd, because he has a crush on a girl. He's completely just under the radar, and you really feel for him. And worst case scenario, this parasite attaches itself to him, and he can't tell anybody about it. And it sucks, because there's very little he can do about it. And the thing threatens his own life. It's like, hey, you can't detach me from your arm, or else I'll detach the other arm and grow on that one too, or whatever. So you feel for him, but as the series grows, you start to feel for both of them, and it's honestly a really intriguing anime. Now, on the flip side, one that just really gets my blood pumping is Tennentoppen Gurren Lagann. I'm not a big fan of mech animes. Like, I'm just going to admit that now. I've never been, like, the closest thing it comes is probably Transformers Armada when I was like 10.
Nice.
But with Tennentoppen Gurren Lagann, it's so much more than just like a mecha anime. Like, it just like it is probably the single most inspiring thing. Like, you just watch it. Like, it's one of those like slow to start animes. Like, I think it takes at least 7 episodes before you're really hooked on it, and it really starts picking up the pace, and just the broad just gets bigger and bigger. And it's probably got the most manliest protagonist I've ever seen in an anime. It's so good. I love it to death. I'm trying not to spoil it because I know you two haven't seen it, but it truly is just something. I love quoting it. I love watching it. It truly is like it's something like, if you're feeling down, or if you feel like the whole world is out to get you, like, this is the anime that basically, like, it like punches you in the gut and like stares you in the eye. It's like, no, you're great. You just don't know it yet. Believe in the me that believes in you. It's great. I love it so much. But yeah, I'm torn between those two.
I wanted to say, like, you were talking about how you didn't really like mecha animes all that much. I'm kind of in like the same boat, except there was one anime that I really did like, and that was Guilty Crown.
Oh boy,
love Guilty Crown, but it's been a while, like, since I've seen it to give you like a full summary of it or whatever.
Wait, that's the only mecha anime that you like? What happened to Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Oh gosh, that
was a good one.
That one makes me want to slip my wrist, because I can't ever understand it. Like, I was watching the movies.
You haven't even watched the original series and final movie yet.
Exactly.
I kid you not. This is the only thing I've ever.
Movies.
Yeah, this is the only series I've ever watched where at the end of this series, and I watched the movie, I had to go to YouTube to find out what actually happened. And I kid you not, the videos that I were looking up were titled understanding Evangelion and quantum physics. Just to understand the plot line of what I was watching.
Yeah.
It was insane.
First, you have to understand Shakespeare and quantum physics.
I
you also speak Latin.
I did want to change my answer on what my favorite anime was, though.
Well, we're too late. We must go to the next section.
No. Wait. Hold on.
You have 45 seconds. Go.
Erased. I liked Erased a lot.
Oh yes,
yeah.
You're pulling it hard. I really like Erased.
I'd completely forgotten about it, and I chose. You put me under pressure, so I was like, Your Lie in April. But I really do like Your Lie in April. But I think Erased is the only anime that I finished in 2 days. That I was watched it so fast. It was so good. But basically,
I do like how unique it is. Holy crap, I love Erased.
Just like a quick summary of it, basically Erased is about this guy who he can, what his name is, like he has the ability to see danger and then go back and save it or whatever. Yeah,
basically what it is that like he'll be going on in everyday life and like he'll see a blue butterfly and that'll signify that something bad is about to happen. And he has to look for it to see what the bad thing is. And whether he spots it or not, what happens is this thing called revival, or it's actually supposed to be called rewind or whatever. But anyway, so what revival is that it takes him back like 6 or 8 minutes back into the past, and he has a chance to relive what he just had. It's basically a deja vu essentially, but backwards. Deja vu. And he has the ability to stop a tragedy from happening. But essentially what goes to happen is it's like his mom gets murdered. I mean, that's not really spoiled. That's in the first. It's in the first episode. Yeah. Yeah, and he's being blamed for her murder, and he's like, I didn't do it, and he sees revival happens, and he goes all the way back to when he was like in the 5th grade.
Yeah, and like, then he lives it out from there.
Yeah, and he lives his life out from there, and he's like trying to figure out who this murderer is that like killed his mother, and it's truly like it's so
awesome.
Unique. I love it. I love it so much. It's great.
But anyway, now over to Kyle, because Kyle hasn't got to say what his favorite is.
I never get to say what I want. All right, I'm going to go on mine, and then we'll swap over to the next segment in our show. Cool. But my favorite anime probably has to be Code Geass.
Oh, boy.
I've seen it like 5 times now. It's really good. It's got like everything that you could want. It's a mecha anime, first off. And it's got everything from action to suspense, romance.
I love me some romance.
It's got everything in it. And there's just like supernatural elements to it as well.
Fan service!
Tons of fan service. Actually, I think there's only one scene of fan service in the entire anime.
Really?
And it's very plot driven as well.
I would like to change my answer again. Date Alive.
That one, the plot service, the anime.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
What the plot line of that series is that it takes place in an alternate world where Britain, where America never like took over and like became its own like nation, and they kind of merged Britain and America into a mega country called Britannia, and they start taking over all of the other countries with an iron fist, and every country they take over is designated a number, and they're treated like slave states. And the people there have no rights, so the Britannians can go in there and like murder somebody, and they don't get caught for it. They don't get in trouble. Nothing happens to them. And the main character, who for very personal reasons, who's the prince of the Britannian Empire, goes against them and essentially founds a terrorist organization to take down the entire country of Britannia and change the world.
Hey.
And mixed upon all this, he gets like the powers of Geass, which he can instantly compel somebody to do anything that he wants. So he can just look at somebody and say, go do this, and they automatically do this. So you have this element with suspense and mecha anime action, and it's just amazing. There's like, it's crazy because the anime is basically this whole suspense ride of, I'm going to make a plan, I'm going to do it, and then something changes the plan, and he's like, wait, I had a plan for that. It's crazy. Like, the amount of plans.
Boy. I had a thrill ride! Honestly, that kind of reminds me of a Death Note in a way, but we're not going to go into other
like that. It's very much like that. I've seen too many like videos where they're like, which character is smarter, the main character in Death Note or the main character in Code Geass? Because this guy is a genius.
I lost my train of thought. What was your next topic about? You said you had a...
You mentioned studios, so we could talk about that. Okay,
so this has been on my mind, and this actually came up yesterday, and I was like, oh, I got to bring this up when we talk on the podcast. So as both of you know, I just finished Persona 5, and I love that game to death. That is by far my favorite game of 2017, hands down. I love that game a lot.
Oh baby.
So with this Persona game, and it was the same with Persona 4, they're getting their own anime. Persona 5 is getting its own anime, and it's getting its own manga, and it's getting an art book, and it's getting all sorts of stuff. It's getting like 2 spin-off games, it's getting the works. But here's the thing: when they announced the trailer for the animation, it's being made by A1 Studios, the same people who are now making Fairy Tail and the ones who did make Sword Art Online. But everybody that I've seen hates that. Why? What is their beef with A1 Pictures? I thought that they were good.
I don't know. They've done a lot of really good. They've done.
I think it might be more so the director, to be honest. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I'll do a little more digging in that one.
The directors seem to change hands between every show, I believe. And I think it's just the company that like finances, and similar to like film production, like the company hires directors and animators per like series. So if they pick up a series, they hire a director for that specific one. And eventually, they could obviously bring back the same director, but as Amos said, you'll probably have to look into that a little more, because I don't know myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because immediately whenever they said A1, like I've seen all these videos of like my reaction to the animation, and it's like just them like freaking out that A1 pick, like it's the trailer, and then it gets to made by A1, and everybody just starts freaking out or whatever. My computer just made a ding, and I'm sure that just appeared inside the podcast.
Your toast is done.
We have to start all over again. No. If you're still listening to this podcast, we're going to upload an entirely new one.
No. No, gosh, no.
We're not going to do that.
No. Anyway, but like, here's the thing that made me laugh was the fact that to prove that A1 Studios is a bad studio, they posted still images of drawings that they did, not the animation. Still images.
Oh, that's the smoking gun right there.
I mean, that's like, it's kind of like that Sonic Mania thing where they stop the frame right as he's turning or whatever, and it looked like his nose is all messed up. How can you, if you're talking bad about an animation studio, how can you take a still image and say that that's bad animation? I don't really understand that, because like A1 already made a short animation of Persona 5. I watched it and I thought it was good. A lot of the people in the comments of the video that I saw or whatever were talking about how it's like they're only good at making flashy fight scenes, and that's it. And it's like, I don't know.
Because flashy fight scenes, boy, they're sure no one wants those.
Yeah, but like I was watching it, and they apparently there was a meme that went around whenever Persona 5 first came out. There's a character in the game named Goro Akechi, and people zoomed in on a picture of him where he was like in the background and of a pic of like one of A1's shorts or whatever of the game, and a meme went around where they called him a Guru Akuchi or something like that, and this is like and I don't really understand how you can take a still image of someone who's in the background and go, this is bad animation.
It's called nitpicking. They'll take anything they can get.
I'm not one to talk when it comes to that. I'm the one who complained about there not being enough hearts and Link to the Past.
Well, I gotta be some nitpicky.
But anyway, that was really the only thing I had to say about studios. Like when it comes to like studios, it usually, like I don't know. Like I'm so new to anime. Like I'm only 2 years into anime that it's kind of like it's like, oh, cool, this story's awesome and it looks good. I mean, there's some animation styles like what was that one you showed me, Kyle? It was like it had game in the name. It was like fun. It was like games. I can't remember. It was like a land. It was like this brother and sister who were in a land.
No Game, No Life.
No Game, No Life.
No Game, No Life.
Like
I've actually watched a little bit of it. I'm loving it.
I did too. I watched I think I watched the first 6 episodes of it, and the animation style is very unique, and I like it. Like I just find stuff like that really interesting to me, honestly.
Yeah, don't get attached. I'll never finish that series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually, I think the creator of it got sued or something.
Oh, great. I think we did have this conversation. I think I remember that now. For plagiarism. Yeah. What did Oh my god.
He plagiarized his own book?
Well, that's the best plagiarism I've ever seen.
It's based on apparently he based a lot of stuff on other things, if I'm correct. Huh. Don't quote me, but I only know is that he got sued and he's not allowed to make a second season.
Oh wow.
Well, that's upsetting.
Yeah. That sucks. Yeah, animation studios. I can't really tell you too many of them besides A1. There's Studio Trigger.
Yeah.
Studio Trigger! Oh my god, I love
amazing anime.
Then there's Ghibli.
Gurren Lagann's on my list, so I got to watch that. And they also make Little Witch Academia, which is great.
That's
oh my
good.
gosh, I love Little Witch Academia. That was a good move.
Yeah, it's really good. They just recently did the series, and it came out a while ago, but Netflix finally got off their butts and put the second season, which is technically the rest of the first season, on Netflix.
Oh, awesome.
So
that's actually probably another topic we should hit is Netflix and anime, because I hear both sides. Some people love it, some people I think it's absolutely abysmal.
Wait, what do you mean? Like
okay, so one thing, I mean, this is just like a small instance, but apparently what the thing is with Netflix and anime is that from what I'm hearing is that they're not really releasing seasons as fast as they should. Like I think there was somebody, I forget which anime it was, but they it was an exclusive, it was an exclusive to Netflix.
Seven Deadly Sins.
I forget what it was. I forget the name of the anime, but basically what happened was that the anime had already been, airing in Japan literally 3 years ago.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, Netflix had the rights to do it. They just didn't do it. They had it finished. They had it English dubbed and everything, and they didn't release it until just recently or something like that.
Huh.
And people are like, well, Netflix, that's a bad idea. Like, if people get rips of your anime, no one's gonna watch it on your platform. They're just gonna legally pirate it. And another thing was the whole. All right, so have any of you guys seen anything on the live action Death Note? That's a Netflix original.
I haven't yet.
No.
It's on my list.
Everyone hates it.
Really?
I've been watching a lot of people do anime reviews, and they're really optimistic. I don't care that L is black. I just want to see where this goes. And everybody who's a Death Note fan absolutely hates it. Like, they're like, this is so disconnected from the source material. It's trying to be its own thing, but the only thing it reminds anybody of is Dragon Ball Z Evolved or whatever it was called.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh my gosh.
Like, people just hate it, and that's what I'm hearing from Netflix. And then I hear a lot of other, I'm not completely trashing Netflix, because they have released a lot of series that haven't been dubbed, like any easily accessible dubbed animes anywhere else that Netflix is offering. But like I said, I just thought there was a conversation to be had there.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, okay, the whole thing about dubbed or whatever, Cal and you, Amos, both can say for a fact that I just can't watch a subbed anime unless I absolutely have to. I love
you
dubbed.
Just gotta learn to read.
Well, no, that isn't the thing. Like my
words.
Well,
I have trouble sound them out. That helps me all the time.
Like, the whole thing about subbed is I don't want to read my show. I would like to watch my show. So, if I wanted to read it, I'd watch the manga. I'd read the manga. Yeah. But
I do that all the time.
But the thing is, Kyle gave me the ability to watch Crunchyroll, and I went to Crunchyroll only to find out that they have almost no dubbed anime at all, and I was very relieved to find out that I almost bought Crunchyroll, and I'm really glad I didn't. But and then there's Hulu, which has a lot of anime, like a ton. I think they have every single episode of Fairy Tail on there, but all of them are subbed. They have a very few selection of dubbed. Like they only have the first 2 seasons of Fairy Tail dubbed. Then there's
Sonic X is dubbed.
My gosh. And then there's Netflix where everything is dubbed except for a few choice selections. Like I think Sword Art Online, the second season was the only thing. It's still subbed, but like almost everything is always dubbed, and that's why I've always liked Netflix when it comes to anime, because they generally have dubbed as an option, because I'm American and I don't want to read. So
yeah,
I don't understand Japanese. I only understand one language.
I mean, I will give Netflix that. Like, the reasons I watch some animes on Netflix as opposed to other websites is that, one, they're dubbed, and two, Netflix genuinely has some really good, like, video quality. Like, they always stream at, like, 1080p, where some other options, only get 720 and worse than that.
Right.
And, as far as the whole, like, Netflix not having good anime, I mean, like, I haven't seen a lot of Netflix, like, originals where they've only made it on Netflix. But there have been some that I've seen that like either Netflix backs or pays for the distribution rights that I can't really find anywhere else. Like the 7 Deadly Sins is one that I watched on Netflix, and I'm sure I can find it at other places. But it was great. I love the anime, and I can't wait for the actual second season to release whenever they decide to do that.
So, but yeah, I usually go to Netflix, or if I don't go to Netflix, I'll go to just some weird website like Cartoon Crazy or whatever. Yeah.
We don't condone the illegal use of watching anime in this podcast. We like to let you all know that.
I was just suggesting
paying for the DVD and Blu-ray copies.
Yeah, go buy all seasons of.
I heard all the Blu-rays come with the the hot sauna scene, or no, the hot tub scene. There we go.
Yeah, those are my favorite episodes of any anime, are definitely the beach scenes, the beach episodes.
Oh heck yeah!
Whereas there's no point in the plot. They just like we have to put all of the characters onto a beach where they're all wearing skimpy outfits.
You're gonna love Persona 5 then.
It's just the animators getting their chance to show off how good they are at making very seductive people. Guys, look how good I can draw this lady.
It's actually kind of funny because there is a scene like that in Persona 5, but it actually does have a story reason for them going to the beach.
They all have good reasons to be at the beach.
Well, okay. I'll let you guys play the game and then you'll figure it out.
We'll change the subject.
Yeah, let's change the subject.
More.
Why would we want to change the subject?
Stay away
from
there.
Getting good.
Well, that's for our second podcast.
This is just like anime protagonist. He's so close to getting the girl, and he turns away like, I can't do this. Women are gross.
How about we get on to... Since you mentioned that, how about anime tropes? Classic anime tropes.
Oh
baby, my nose just bled.
All right, we'll give you guys 10 seconds each, and you name your favorite anime trope. And Caleb, go.
Fan service.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't watch enough to get all the tropes, but like honestly, that's the one thing.
If you watch 2 animes, you'll know.
But honestly, that's the thing that's in every single anime I've ever seen. Every single. I think maybe like no, even that had fan service. Dadgummit. Never mind. Go. Maybe not. Your turn.
And Amos.
That's a toughie. An anime. I'm trying to think. What's it? The part where the girls are very skimpily cladded. Those are probably my favorite anime.
You mean fan service?
I don't know. I think honestly, I like the style tropes that are only found in anime. Like like the little like pink line marks for blushing, the little like sweat drops for embarrassment. I love those. I love the little animation quirks that anime has. Like it's not really a trope per se, but it's something that you can only find in anime, and it's very stylized. And I love that it's so well used.
It's so kawaii.
It's desu kawaii. As far as a trope goes, I honestly let me think. It's not my favorite, but it's one I can think of. Is the whole like, oh, I'm falling, and my hand accidentally grabs my love interest's boob. Oops! It was totally on accident. I'm so embarrassed, and she beat the living crap out of me.
I think I've seen that like 6 times, and like
you'll keep seeing it.
Yeah, let me tell you, if that happened in a real life, I'd be a lot more clumsy.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My hand just gravitated towards your boob. I'm so sorry.
Anyway,
this gives you free roll to beat the crap out of me, by the way.
Anyway, now on to the best trope. My favorite one is the one where the main protagonist gets beat up by the bad guy. And then
I love that
has a time where he like goes into his head and he thinks about all the things that he's got to save. And the only way he can beat the bad guy is if he screams at the top of his lungs for his power up to happen, and then he beats the bad guy easily.
You motherfucking
you can walkie-talkie telly spaghetti. But yeah, no, that tends to happen a lot, actually.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like, most everybody's gonna know it from Dragon Ball Z. Where, the main character gets beat up, and then he screams for like 10 minutes, and then his hair goes golden.
10 episodes. You got it right.
Yeah, pretty much. You're right. It's also
it's to be continued.
Issue 2 and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, which is like to be continued. He comes back, he's still screaming. He's just it's like different camera angles of him screaming, and then it's like to be continued.
It's intercut with like scenes from like 40 episodes ago when he's like talking to some other person. He's like, I promised I would never let anybody hurt you again.
And then comes back, and then it like cuts back to like, I promised I'd never let them hurt you again. It's just, yeah, but no, yeah, I've seen a lot of animes where, just like, I'm mad at you, scream, I have ultimate powers now. Was it like Oni, where he just sneezes and he goes Super Saiyan or something like that?
Again, if that happened in real life, I'd be screaming a lot more.
Right, exactly.
Oh, one trope I just thought of, but it's something that's really prominent in the Pokemon series and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is there's a new skill or card that's found at the right time, right as they're about to lose.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
This magic one-trick pony card that can get me out of this very specific situation. All right, Pikachu, use Thunder Assist to tackle. God, it's so effective. I should use this all the time from now on.
And never uses it again.
Like they never can because of some stupid reason.
Goes back to using Pikachu.
Boy, this is a water type. Water types are strongest, so better use Pikachu.
He's a rock type. I'm just gonna throw electric bolts at it.
That was actually, I think, the first anime I ever watched, if you can consider it an anime. It is an anime. It was because I watched that whenever it first came out on TV, and then like I have VHS tapes that I've rented at video stores to watch it, because I always liked the Jigglypuff episode because I thought it was funny. And like now I own the entire Indigo League on DVD, except for the ones that were banned in the US. So
I want to see James with a big old pair of boobies.
Yeah. I want to see Ash get held at gunpoint.
And then there's the ones where the tentacles like take over the world.
No, that was actually, they left that actually. That's yeah, they aired that. It's really funny because like I was very confused because the episode right before the Tentacruel one is the episode where James cross-dresses, and it was really confusing because it doesn't explain how they got to that city where the Tentacruel thing happens, and that's because that episode was removed. And then of course there was an episode where it gave up like 800 kids seizures or whatever in Japan.
I watched that episode. It's not nearly as but I guess that it's not nearly as effective on us 90 kids.
Yeah,
it's super effective.
I watched it too, and that was I think that was the first thing I ever watched that was subbed, and I was so confused. I was like, where's the dubbed? And I was like, obviously there's not going to be a dubbed of it.
Why are they not speaking English?
I was very confused why they were calling them pocket monsters. I was like, Pokemon, get it right.
Actually, that's actually a pretty good topic. What was your Keel?
My first anime? Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about the point where I knew like it was anime. Like I watched Pokemon and I didn't know it was an anime. I just thought it was.
Hey, Kyle, you're cutting out real bad.
Am I?
Yeah.
You're back now.
Yeah, you're back now.
Oh, okay.
Say
so
it
if you
again.
could repeat what you just said, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no problem. As far as we're talking, like Pokemon. I mean, I watched Pokemon before I knew it was an anime. Like I was still at that point where I thought it was just a cartoon. But if we're talking about like anime that I like knew for a fact it was anime and like really got into, but it's probably like Bleach.
Bleach.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
because
my cousin actually asked me to like watch it. He was like, "Oh, Kyle, you should watch this," and I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's Bleach. It's great. You should watch it." So I watched it, and I watched it for like 50 episodes, and then like I stopped watching it and picked it back up, and then I stopped watching it and I picked it back up.
Like I can dig it. I can dig it, but like, well, so it's not really embarrassing. It's just how it happened. Like, okay, so like my parents were really strict on Pokemon. Like they're huge churchgoers. And they're like, no, you're not watching that pocket monster crap.
Yeah, I can
it's gonna
understand
fry
that.
your brain. You're gonna have a seizure, and life will be terrible. So my first anime, unfortunately, was not Pokemon. I saw it advertised. I wanted to watch. But what I was allowed to watch, because they didn't know what anime was Sonic X, and I loved it. I love. You don't understand. Like, if going back and watching how terrible those shows were, it's the most hilarious experience I can. Because like I genuinely loved it as a kid. I'm like, here's a blue hedgehog. He runs fast. He destroys things, and this is my kind of jam. And it was, as a kid, you don't think about plots. You don't think about purpose or reason. It's just he's going fast, he's blowing things up. That's all that matters. Watching it now, that is probably the most terribly scripted and terribly voice acted anime I've ever watched. But from what I hear, the Japanese version is a lot more fun, because there's apparently an episode where like Knuckles is looking for like a shard of like his Master Emerald, and it's like in a whorehouse, and of course it didn't air on like, you know,
right.
Yeah, Americans, and like apparently they swear a lot in the TV show. Like Sonic and friends they left out the 4-letter words just go. Let's just let them rip. And I really wish I could have watched that version as a kid, because I would laugh so hard. Because there's just that point in your life when you're a kid where swear words are just so funny, because you know you're not allowed to use.
Did you say Call of Duty?
Xbox Live.
So how about?
Well, I was just gonna say, in my sense, it'd be Sword Art Online, but I think I said that earlier. You know, if we don't count Pokemon, since I also thought that was a cartoon.
Well, I guess we could. I guess the ones that really got us into it.
Yeah, it was the
starting point, the turning point where we were like, I'm watching
the turning point,
and after
where
that,
it got serious.
I have to watch more.
The point of no return. It was definitely Sword Art Online in my case.
Right.
Actually, I have to say, mine was say it
again, Amos. You cut out.
It was called Gun X Sword, and it was a mecha anime. It had like a sword that could bend into like cloth. It was really cool. I love it. His name was Vaughn of the Dawn, and I was really into it. And I binged the entire thing on Netflix. I loved it so much, and then that's what got me into anime. And then I watched Death Note, and then someone spoiled it for me, and then I got mad and didn't watch anime for a while.
Spoilers are the devil.
Yes, they are. My name's Bond. Bond of the Dawn.
His name was Vaughn. Like it's spelled Van, but they pronounce it Vaughn.
My name's Vaughn. Vaughn of the Dawn.
Vaughn of the Dawn. And then his robot's name was Dan.
Vaughn of the Dan.
No, the robot's name was Dan, but he would call him Dawn of Thursday. Like the robot's title was Dawn of Thursday, but he called him Dan for short, because Japanese people don't know how English works.
You guys want to go into their next segment?
Yeah.
Actually, I have a segment, but
sure.
I would actually, if that's okay. I'm curious. So there's the whole thing where people like mistake anime as it being childish because it's animated, which is very annoying and frustrating, because you know they're like, oh, it's that silly Japanese cartoon, and hearing the word cartoon just makes makes
my skin itch.
Yeah, because cartoons have a bunch of children dying. That's the kind of cartoon I want my kids to watch.
Because when you think cartoon, you think Bugs Bunny slapping Daffy Duck. what anime is.
I think it gets that association because they're both, in a sense, animated shows.
Yeah.
You know, and like people are just like, oh, I don't want to watch that because that's for a child.
Right.
And I agree with you. It is like super frustrating. And I think like the people who say those kind of things, or like say, you know, for me, it's the most part is I hate anime.
Yeah.
It's really dumb because anime is just a form of media. A form of media. It'd be like watching one movie and saying, I don't like movies because I watched one and it was bad. Or I don't like reading books because I only read one and it was really bad.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, those are also the kind of people that like watch Family Guy and South Park and have no problem with it, though it's animated. Like, it's I really, that's one thing that also really irks me. It's like, no, it's only immature when the theme is childish, even though anime has a humongously broad spectrum of themes.
Probably a good way of like putting this is like there are several movies that have been made that are animated. You know, Disney's made a few movies that, you know, the appeal for children to see them, I can understand, but their audience isn't only children when it comes to those specific. Well, not all of them. Movie. Okay, that was just ridiculous, and we are not talking about that at all. I don't want to.
I know our next subject.
But honestly, I just wish people would try it. You know, I what was it? We got Regan to watch one, Kyle, and he really enjoyed it, and he said
Seven Deadly Sins.
And then like my brother started mocking him ever since because of that. But that's just Josh being Josh, which is fine. I don't care.
For those people who haven't watched anime or have watched one anime and like they said they didn't like it, there's so many animes out there that are completely different. Like there's something for everybody is what I always say. Was when they say that they've never watched it or they want to watch one and they don't know what, I always ask them what do they like in a movie, because you can typically find something that's like that in anime. They have suspenseful thrillers like Death Note, Code Geass, where there's like so many things going on. They have those dumb action adventures. They have comedies. They have romance. You know, they have everything. There's something for everybody who knows how to look for it, and it's not one of those things where there's only one type of anime and that's it, where people assume it's all for kids and there's only one type and there's no interest in stories or characters or backgrounds or anything.
Right
I totally agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I really, it's just frustrating. I wish people were more
open-minded.
Exactly. Just this whole world's not open-minded, but we're not going to get into that.
Pretty open-minded here.
Yeah, Sam. Let's
Anime Expo is cool though.
I feel like I kind of am open-minded in the sense though, because like it's just kind of like with video games too. Like I'm generally down to try out anything, especially if you give it to me for free. So, but anyway, let's move on. What do you got for us, Kyle?
I was gonna say we can recommend anime to our viewers out there who maybe who are listening to this podcast and are wanting to interested by what we've been talking about and want to watch an anime, but maybe we can give them a little guidance. We can say that each one of us can kind of say like one type of anime, like Caleb, if you wanted to pick a horror action one, and Amos, you want to pick a mecha, whatever it is. That way we're not all talking about the exact same type.
Okay, yeah, I've got one then. I wanted to talk about it anyway, but Danganronpa, which kind of fits in that. So Danganronpa is, the animation is based off of a video game. The reason and it's funny because the reason I got into this was because I had to do a 107 fact video for the leaderboard or whatever on YouTube. But like they did one on Danganronpa, which was originally on the PSP, I believe, and then it went from that to the PS4, and then they made an animation. And so basically, if you've played the game, it's exactly the same. Excuse me. It's exactly the same as the animation from what I can tell. But it's so basically, I think it's 15 high school students who are talented. All of them have their own talents about them. Some are like baseball stars, and some are fashion divas, and so they all have one talent that they're really, really good at. And they go to this high school called Hope's Peak Academy, but they're all trapped inside this high school. There's 15 of them, and they are given this bear, this robotic bear named Monokuma appears and tells them that the only way to graduate or get out is to kill somebody in here. Of the 15 people, kill somebody, and then nobody find out that it's you. That is the only way that you can do it. So the way that it works is somebody will try to kill somebody, then they'll have a trial, and if they figure out who it is, then they get executed. If they don't find out who they are, then everybody else dies, and the person that committed the murder gets to leave. And it's really, really cool. It's just a really cool murder mystery, and it has other seasons that are its own story that aren't based off of the game after that, and it gets even more darker and deeper as it goes on. It's just really twisted, and basically the whole theme of it is hope versus despair. So, and it's really, really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I've actually watched a few episodes, and I can concur with Caleb. That's pretty good.
Anyway, Amos, what do you got for us?
Okay, so I was actually talking to Kyle about it's a series that I forgot where I found like, I think it's like a GIF of it, and I thought it was a really cool GIF because I'm like, oh, I really like the animation style. But the anime I'm referring to is I'm not entirely sure what the actual series is called. I think it's called like the MURPHGAM series. I'm not entirely sure, but basically what it is it's essentially a slice of life anime with some supernatural elements tied to it. But the thing is that like it's very artistically stylized, and not so much in like the way that it's drawn or the way that it's animated. Even though it is really well animated, it's basically one of a kind animation, I would say. But it's really, I'm trying to think the right words to use here. It's very unique to itself. Like it's pretty much in a league of its own when it comes to slice of life, because its main character, to try to keep this as brief as I can, is basically I want to say like a 16-year-old dude or something like that, or an 18-year-old dude. I can't remember how old he is. He was bitten by a vampire, and this dude cured him of it, but he still has remnants of a vampire in him. Like he still has the strength, he still has the speed, and he still has like, some of the problems that come with being a vampire. And he meets this girl who like he's late to class, and he's going up a staircase, and this girl like falls off the staircase, and he catches her, and he finds that she's completely weightless. And like he's like, whoa, this is weird. Why is she completely weightless? And later on, she confronts him. She's like, you can't tell anybody that I'm weightless, all right? And he's like, I'm sure I won't. And then like she threatens him within an inch of life, because she's within an inch of his life, because she's really kind of like a very mean person. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain this. It's really something you have to watch for yourself, but it's incredibly stylized. It's one of a kind anime. It's, if you really want like a story that just focuses on characters and how they develop, and like a really good like romance that just gets you involved really fast, I definitely highly suggest it. It's MURPHGAM series.
MURPHGAM, I think is what it's called. Is that what, okay.
It's like I said, I don't know the exact name. It really drives me crazy because like every season has a different name, and it's really hard to follow. But when you get like like a guide, it's really interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. So you want stylized with really good characters, that watch that series if you can figure out what it is.
If we can Google it and try to find it out.
If we can find it, yeah. You have to find it to enjoy it.
Like I would send you guys like the name, but the internet, it slows down my voice chat, so that's why I can't. I think that's what was messing mine up earlier, because I had like YouTube open listening to music.
Oh, and yeah, that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, that might do it. Cool. I'll go next. One anime that I'll say is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, baby!
It's a series that I watched a while back and finally finished recently. And it's a really, really well done anime. It's got a lot of really great characters, and the story is really good. Essentially, the plot line of it is in this alternate world kind of thing where the main, like, half the population of the world has this ability to use what's called alchemy. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, one of the laws of alchemy, which plays heavily in the show, is equivalent exchange. Essentially, I give something to get something. If I give Caleb a pizza, I expect a pizza in return. You know, equal and opposite exchange. And that's kind of like the whole theme of the story. It centers around two brothers who their mother dies, and essentially when they're kids, they try to bring her back through alchemy, and they both suffer heavy losses. And which, you know, I won't name because of spoilers and all that stuff, but
right.
It's essentially their journey to find a way to fix what they did back then. And it's this redemption story, and there's a lot of darker secrets and plot lines, and it's got a lot of really good action. The music is just fantastic. The character design is just amazing, and it'll hit you in the feels when you least expect it. It's a really good anime. I totally recommend it to anybody out there who wants to watch an action-oriented anime with characters and plot.
I would like to recommend Cory in the House as the
best anime.
Yeah.
If anybody's listening to
I'd
this,
like to recommend that you resign your weeb card.
Unless you've watched Cory in the House.
Because the best anime is Filthy Frank.
there is no other anime.
Right.
Papa Franku.
What were you going to say, Kyle? You were going to say something about
I like anime.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's kind of apparent, Kyle.
Hey! People say they like Sonic games and bash. Okay, so you never know these days.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, I was going to say, I think we're about out of time, Kyle. Unless you had one other thing you wanted to add or say or whatever.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Final thoughts.
Cool. Final thoughts. Caleb, anime. Final thoughts.
Okay. Well, I think I can just overall say that I just really like anime. I'm really glad that Kyle, you inadvertently subjected me to anime, and now now I just really, really like it, and I enjoy it a lot. And to anybody who hasn't watched it, you should at least, give it a try. Ask your fellow weeb what they recommend for you, and just to, like Kyle said earlier, you just kind of have to find the one that's for you. They're not all gonna be one you like. I don't know.
There's some you really like.
There's a lot of really there's funny ones, there's action-packed ones, there's slice of life ones. I mean, I think me and Amos were like looking for one that was like the weirdest anime. That's
called Kaijo?
No, High School DxD.
No.
Bless you. Do you remember that, Amos?
Boy, do I.
That is so not family friendly on this channel whatsoever, but
which is why we're going to talk about it.
No, we're not going to talk about High School DxD. We do not need to talk about that. But
if not that, then High School of the Dead. Totally.
Yeah, oh gosh, but there are so many awesome and just beautiful animes. Like it's given me the ability to appreciate animation a lot more as well. They're just really good stories. I appreciate good, well-written stories, and so it's just a shame that it's harder to get anime since we live in the U.S. So
it's all just.
Boy, I wish I was Japanese.
Amos, final thoughts.
I would just like to say that I retract everything I've ever say that Sonic X is the hands down best anime I've ever watched, and I would heavily encourage anyone who hasn't seen it to watch it and revel in its marvelousness. It's truly a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Best anime. Top notch intro song, Gotta Go Fast, made me cry every time. Sonic dies a couple of times, but he comes back, so it's all good. Like spoilers, by the way. Sometimes he go fast, sometimes he don't go fast enough. You never know what you. But in all seriously, though, I will say that as far as anime is concerned, I'm really hoping someday it really gets a foothold, because it's something that we kind of sort of didn't really hit up on was movies. Like there's the recent movie that I think has gotten a lot of traction, and I hope it paves the way for more anime movies, is Your Name, which hands down probably one of the best anime movies I've ever watched. I love it. and it's doing so well to the point that I hope the platform finally gets a broad enough spectrum for it to be more mainstreamed, so that it gets the credit it deserves, because it truly is a magnificent medium that needs more respect. And just I just really like anime and Sonic X.
Yeah. And I honestly, since you mentioned that, if that was going to be my recommended anime, honestly, but you kind of like went the way of like more slice of life, realistic romance kind of thing, and so I was like trying to find something that was a little different.
Well, regardless, you should definitely watch it.
Definitely a great movie that anybody wants to get into anime can watch and appreciate.
Is it dubbed? I know that weren't they going to dub it?
Yeah, it's dubbed. I watched it. I don't know if it's released yet. I actually went to the movie theaters and watched it dubbed.
Let me know when it is. I want to watch it again.
Yeah, for sure. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, and I don't like subs, so that's saying something.
Yeah. So yeah, final thoughts for me. Anime is just, you know, I don't know what I can say that, you know, hasn't already been said. You know, Caleb summarized it pretty well. That, you know, anime is really just a genre, in all honesty, just like movies and books and songs. And if you want to get invested into it, you know, take a minute, ask some of your friends who know you and what you like, or look on the internet and do a little research and find one that you think is you're gonna like. Because if you like action and you hate horror movies, then it'd be a bad idea to go and try to watch a first anime being a horror one. It's like you wouldn't go and watch a horror movie if you don't like those type of movies.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. It's just really all I got.
Well, awesome. Well, I think this has been as successful as it always is, you know, out of the other time that we did it, other than the little hiccup we had, but future Caleb edited that out. So, yeah.
What you talking about?
There was no errors.
Right, yeah.
All right, then. Caleb, do you have anywhere anybody can reach you?
Yeah, of course. Well, you know, as you guys know, this is on the MURPHGAM Gaming channel, and we pretty much do stuff for them all the time. Amos is doing animation for me, and Kyle is here, always present, always lingering. But since this is on MURPHGAM Gaming, you can follow MURPHGAM Gaming at you can follow it at MURPHGAM Gaming on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram. You can also follow this Turn-Based Talk TBT. We are on SoundCloud. It's so much easier to listen to us on SoundCloud than it is on YouTube whenever you're going down the road. So if you wanna find us on SoundCloud, we're on there. We're not as active because we just started doing that.
That's where I keep my mixtapes.
Yeah, that's where I keep my mixtape. But yeah, everything, all the social media that you can find me at is at MURPHGAM Gaming. So pretty easy to find.
Nice, great. Amos, do you have any place that anybody could reach you in your art that you do or anything like that?
I'm mostly more active on Tumblr. Catch me.
You're cutting out, Amos. Can you say that again?
Oh, well, I was just going to say that probably find me more prominent on Tumblr, because that's where I frequent, to be honest. I did actually recently make a Twitter just because I needed a reason to have a Miiverse on the Switch. So if you want to go check me out there, you can, but you'll just see a bunch of Splatoon crap. So definitely look me up on Tumblr at Amos the Art Man. I have a DeviantArt, but I would suggest you stay away from that. That would need some severe cleaning and some holy water.
What's your Twitter? Because it's different. It's not the same.
It's just Amos the Art Man NX, or not NX, but for Nintendo Switch.
NS, yeah.
Yeah, for never frequenting here. But yeah, that's where you can find me, long and short. Just go to Tumblr, it's easier.
Right. And if anybody wants to hear me, you can catch me on TBT, because it's the only place I'm at for right now.
Yeah, he stays in the shadows and comes out whenever we're ready to record. So, but yeah, I guess that's going to do us here at TBT.
Help me.
Okay.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go watch some anime.
All right.
I mean, I've been watching it this entire time.
Of course you have.
I've actually been playing Sonic the Hedgehog this entire time.
And yet again, I've been staring at a timer this whole time. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this TBT, and we definitely hope to see you in the next one, whatever we decide to do next. Leave suggestions down in the comments on what you want us to do, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Toodaloo.
All right, bye, everybody.